See, I was thinking about how actually be disappointed if I was coming across all streets as a driver and I never saw a straggler. And I've seen it, and it makes me wonder what is going on in their mind. I don't sit there and go, why, I ask, why are they doing that? I'm not sitting there going, getting angry, like, oh, that ass, why is that ass doing that? I mean, I've thought that too, but more or less I'm trying to figure out where could that person be coming from mentally that they would do that, or cross, start riding their bike across on a green turn signal. Like, they didn't see that was a green turn signal, so they start across the road and thinking it's just a green light. And and so I think, and a lot of people are homeless, and a lot of people are, they're anti-establishment. They feel like, I believe that it's done them wrong in a lot of ways. And other people that are obviously well imbued into society also act in very odd ways, and they're stragglers. And I thought, I had a conversation with an old friend, and he said, I would be really upset if during snowfall, if I didn't see kids throwing snowballs at cars. And I thought about that, and I thought, yeah, because I used to, with this guy, throw snowballs at cars all the time, and we'd run and hide. And there was a certain lesson, there was a certain difference, there was a certain trying to figure out what this process did for us and did for them, what it meant for us to start carving out ourselves as separate from. And so I'm very weirded by people that come on and try to, in a way, in a hoity-toity way, try to say my ideal civilization would have vehicles transporting people, and it would not have children throwing cars. It would have individuals walking quickly across the road and being quite well aware and not, with absolutely no apathy whatsoever towards the community that they are within. As if one could not be allowed any longer to daydream, to separate oneself, one's mental positioning, to allow themselves to fracture away, let their body kind of carry on its own, as if like the throat muscle will swallow, and I forget the term for it, something like somatic muscle process, where your body does so many things that you're not consciously aware of and you're not in control of. And so to be able to kind of let your body walk while you're daydreaming, to kind of be allowed to encounter the world without a sense of, without a necessary sense of having to do something. But then you get these people on here and they're like, if we could just carve it out this way, if we could just see ourselves in this manifold, in this way, in this process, wouldn't that be so much better? And it's like somebody trying to take an ancient culture and to make us, have us identify with the processes as if their technology, as if what was the same, as if they had computers, as if they had cars, as if they had the conveniences, flush toilets and the sort, as if their very modality of interacting with the world would be anything acceptable, or maybe even anything possible that we would be able to identify within this biology. I mean, could you honestly imagine going back even 4 centuries and walking around? Could you even imagine how separate you would be, how you would be strong in so many ways, but you would be so incredibly weak in so many ways, and how you would be ostracized, or how you would be idealized? It's absolutely obscene for individuals, I think, to come on and try to import by necessity, like a religion, a particular ideology that is strictly and obviously a bonding with a canon. It's It's saying, I came from this particular canon, and won't you join my canon? You know, I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, won't you be a pepper too, right? And this notion of hierarchies competing with one another. I think the notion of being degenerate is another part of being human. I think that the notion of not always trying to engage inflationary processes of self, this whole notion of eking out and colonizing people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm on the airwaves, I'm outward. But there's a difference to me between things I share with my brother and things I would share with my family, and then things I would share with my neighbor, and then things I would share with my bank, or things I would share with the world. Like, these are different covalent distances. The difference between tribe and community are tremendously different. Between hearth, between solace and hearth is a huge leap. Between me and a lover, between my lover and my family, these are huge leaps. And so to get somebody on here that wants to generalize, wants to put a huge scope of how it is we must be, and to try to make modal, try to make a model, and insist and separate individuals from one side, like, you know, they're on that side of the pond and I'm on this side of the pond, or they're acting this way, and to actually generate a disgust and a disdain and a piety. A certain piety comes from this type of process. And it's not to say that it's bad to not listen to it. I think people should listen and hear what other people are saying. But I think that there is a time to recess from politics and come back to home. There's a time to speak publicly, and there's a time to go take a crap, you know, in a stall. And I think that the difference between the Ubermensch ideology, this forward ideal telos that people are putting outward, and its reflection back to us as human, as being human, all too human, is very, very interesting. Because, like, Avatar the movie, I thought it was great because it was essentially white Western science, and it's structured, and its relationship to a plutocracy or a capitalism, and how all the science and all the structure and all the militant ardent approaches are reflective of this must-be sort of way, and how it all, the ideal character is one that must make a conversion, or must trade their position from the structure to the emotive body, from the supposed idealism to the bottom. And the thing that's ironic is that the hero of that movie, and this means that, you know, to me this is a very political movie, and it's well centered around a certain communistic sort of approach to life. I think it's weird because the ideal character is the emotive one, the one that is birthed from spirit, and yet all of the structured communal technology that had to go into building that film, all the little points and tangents of every single computer animated angle on all faces, on all depictions, on all creatures in that movie, it's absolutely structured. And yet the ideal character is that who is abandoning the very form of structure. It's to get us through this irony. And everyone has an irony, and I believe in irony. I believe irony is important, like a Mobius strip, but it's where we take that other end, the other end of the Mobius strip, where we think we're putting it, where we're playing it, where we're going to inflate it, and what it is we're going to hide away, what it is we're going to call our own, and what it is we're going to call our politic. And so some people are pious. I can't believe they're as pious as they are. They're so trained in a way of being that they can't even see the ground. It's upsetting.